Well, hello everybody. Happy Friday night. Welcome to Fishy Business and the Aquarium Adventures channel yet again. Hope you're well. Hope you're ready for the weekend, I guess. That's where I was going with that. I'm not sure where I was going with that. As ever, running late. Haven't prepared much, but we'll get there in the end. Let me know if you can both see me and hear me, because that would be a good start. Because on my thing, it looks like we're very grey for some reason. I don't know why it would be doing... there we go, that's better. Right, so, how is everybody? Welcome to Fishy Business. We have a night of fun and frivolity ahead of us. Lost this power of speech already. As always, we're going to do a quiz tonight. The quiz will be roughly 10 o'clock, so make sure you stick around if you fancy participating in that. The quiz, as always, will be a mixture of fishy questions, non-fishy questions. That covers every category, I suppose. A bit of current affairs, a bit of guesswork, a bit of randomness, and the winner will get a small prize, unless it's Scott again and you'll be banned from winning anymore. No, that's not true. Whatever you win, if you live in the UK, you will get a small prize. Caveat, you have to tell me who you are and where you live if you win. If you don't live in the UK and you win, then maybe you can nominate someone from the chat who's in the UK and fancies a little prize. The quiz might even be sponsored this week. It depends when... I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this yet, but we'll see. The quiz may or may not be sponsored by... Well, no, let's go with... The quiz will be sponsored this week. It'll either be sponsored by me, and you'll get some Aquarium Adventures foods or stickers or merch or something like that, or it'll be sponsored by Fluval, and you'll get some Fluval goodies, depending on what they send me this week. So apparently I have a care package on the way with various goodies for me to try out and test. And I mentioned, well, maybe we could give away some prizes to people as quiz prizes. And they were like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So they're going to throw me in some stuff there. Maybe. So, let me make sure the chat works and see if we've got everyone in. We have indeed. Ross, good evening from a dismal and damp Edinburgh. It's a little bit... Pardon me. A little bit changeable here. I have a bit of a cough. So that's a good excuse to tell you the other things we'll be doing this evening. Ta-da! I have a new beer. If you're new here, this is an aquatics channel, but I like to try out weird beers on a Friday night. This is fast becoming one of my favourite breweries, Northern Monk. This is a new one. Northern Monk Cross Rivington. Order of the North, DDH, still don't really know what that means, IPA. So we'll give that a go. Right in the eye, just as well as wearing glasses. It doesn't stink. I was a bit worried just by the colour of the can, if this is going to be like a stouty type thing, but the DDHs I've had in the past, whatever that means, hasn't been too bad, and this doesn't look too bad. Regular viewers of the show will know I'm partial to a cloudy beer now. Now that I'm getting my weird beer eye in, I almost know what I want. I'll never make a bartender, but you know, that's what I want. Something that's completely non-see-through. And I can chase away that horrible cat in my back of my throat. Hi from Sweden, says Hans, good evening. Brian's in. Simon Littlefield, hello there. Sharpie, evening Aquanerds from a warm and dry Norfolk. Well, it's dry at the moment, but it's not as warm in comparison to previous days, I'll give you that. Midwest Aquatics, greetings from the USA. That sounds like a song lyric. I don't know why that triggered that memory. Mark, hello Mark. Yet another wet night in Northumberland for Brian. Martin's here. Dangerous Dan. How are you doing? Kaylee's in. Gordon's alive. Loud and clear. Visible and audible. That's what we want. Sound and pick. Good. Right. Oh, Sydney. That's probably the furthest away person. Welcome, Lee. Chicken fist. Salutations. So, let me know what your plans for the weekend. Have you got any fishy plans? I have some fishy plans. Have you got any beverages and snacks? Oh, sorry, hurt my back. Beverages and snacks for this evening's stream, this evening's fun and frivolities. What's going on, basically? It's Friday night. It's chill out time. Craig's Catfish Cave, hello there. Silver Creek Audi. Yippee for Fluval sponsorship, kinda. Yeah. Yippee. If you're a member of the Discord... Oh, that's disappointing. Why didn't that work? My stream deck's given up again. Who knows? Sorry, just bear with me, caller, while I try and sort this out. No, it's not playing. Okay. Stream Deck free night tonight. Oh, that's a shame, because we can't do applause or horns. Unless you can hear those things, and it's just me that can't. So this is called Order of the North, a collaboration between Rivington and Northern Monk. DDH, double dry hop. That's about the only thing that's dry up here. Badumtish. That is not as nice as the other ones. We'll just leave that there. Yay! Right, there you go. Discord. You can join the Discord. I can't remember why I wanted you to join the Discord, but I can point you there and you can do things. Oh, yes. I mentioned in the Discord, that was right. God, get the brain together, Graham. Had a very long day. That Fluval had reached out and posted the video about my Aquasky review light thing and said, oh yeah, that was great, loved that. So I asked people to go along and like the Fluval post just so as they thought I was more relevant than I might be. So they reached back and said, oh, we've got great feedback on our social media posts, so what do you want next? So I literally wrote them out a huge paragraph of, well, and went through their entire website, said, I'll have one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them. Basically said, I can take anything you want. I can make a video about anything. I can use anything that you've got. Fluval as a brand is a brand that I've liked for a long time. I've used their stuff before they even ever offered to sponsor anything or send me anything. So I know I like the stuff in general, so more than happy to take anything and have a go at it. So I gave them some scenarios and they agreed to most of them. As you know, I wanted to replace this tank here with a bigger one. I wanted to get a Mega Flex. So that might be one in the future. But I've got an FX2 coming because that's the one they want to push because it's fairly new at the moment. So it's fine, yeah, I'll use that. Not quite sure what I'm going to use it for, so I've got a couple of ideas. The idea I pitched to them was using my Bucktooth Tetra tank and using the FX2 to drive that because I had a bit of a failure in the tank that I was going to put the Bucktooth Tetras in. That's that one that has that kind of internal sump affair, and it just keeps giving out and not working efficiently. So I thought, oh, I'll just get another hang-on back or something that'll do the job. But an FX2 is kind of perfect for that tank. So that might be an upcoming video, as well as some prizes for the quiz, like I said. So for those of you just joining, quiz at 10 p.m. We've got 50 minutes. If you have any questions or any topics you want to discuss, just type the word question in your question and it will flash up and I'll see it a little bit easier. And then we'll just catch up with what everyone else is doing. Hey kids, I'm very broken tonight. Anyone torn the meniscus on their knee? So joining it for a bit before drugs take to a dark place. Also beer. Oh dear, I don't know what a meniscus is, but I'm sure it's not good. Nabokov Van is here, 7%. That'll clear the cough up. It doesn't smell at all. That's what's interesting. And then it's got a taste of quite a don't know what the taste is. Initially it's fine, it's the aftertaste. It's got a bit of a... But it's fine, I'm getting better with these things. Double dry hops, yes, we got there in the end. David, good evening, how are we doing? It's wetter than an otter's pocket here in Northamptonshire. You sound so Norwegian when you say Sweden. Oh, God, I keep finding things to talk about that are going to ruin quiz questions, so I'm going to shut my mouth. Maybe we should do the quiz first off next time, or reasonably near the start, so I don't ruin it. A bottle of sloe gin, all to myself here. My plan this weekend, says Aaron, is to slime out and get rid of terrible green-blue cyanospirulina infestation. That's not a thing, is it? A cyano infestation, yes, that could be fun. I have 2 ruined legs, but my knee hospitalised me yesterday. Oh, apologies. This is another way to get your comment. In fact, I'll show you what I mean. Can I show you what I mean? Little face. Did not mean to do that, but you get the idea. So if you type my name in there, it comes up orange and I see it like that. But if you type question, has anyone typed question? It highlights the whole line like this down here, which is quite useful. And now I've made chat ridiculously big. Would you recommend Biohome Ultimate, or would you say it's overrated? That was the question. We'll come down to that in a minute. Hello, any experience with DIY fish food? Think making a gel food then dehydrating it would be a good option for shelf stackable wafers. I have lots of experience with DIY fish food. I have tried many types and they've all gone pretty well. The one thing I haven't looked at is longevity, so like how well things would store, so I'm not sure about that. So most of the foods that I've made I've either frozen or kept in a fridge or used very quickly after making them. So I'm not sure about the storage or what really requires, what goes into it to make it shelf storable for a long time. I guess dehydrating foods, yeah, like you say. So dehydrating, no, but most other stuff, yes. I have a couple of videos on my channel about making fish food. There's another channel called Fishman. I think it's just called Fishman. And he does had done a few videos, and basically I copied them and went, oh yeah, and they all worked really well. So I recommend checking out my videos rather than anyone else's. But yeah, Fishman has, I think it's called Fishman. I'm going to now check that because I've been having brain farts all day long. And that's just reminded me about Fishman Aquatics. Apparently today, friend of the channel, almost like family member of the channel, Fishman Aquatics was the last day of trading today. They were summarily turfed out of their premises with very short notice. So that's quite sad. Yes, Fishman. It's very windy here, and I say that just because I've just noticed my front door has blown open. Yeah, okay. So, yes and no is my question, my answer to that question. I'm going to do a bit of admin now. As you know, I have started a second channel for people who don't want to hang around for the full 2 hours. If you just want to catch the quiz, or you just want to catch the questions, or any rants or topics or whatever, there's a second channel. Hopefully one of my mods, if not me, will be putting that into the chat just now. You can go and check it out. It's Aquarium Adventures Clips or something like that I've called it. Very original and clever. I'd love it if you would go over and click the subscribe button. It would make my day. I have something like 15,000 subscribers on this channel and less than 100 on that one, so you know I'm a bit like, that would make no sense. So that would be very nice, but I basically will spend tomorrow editing this live stream down into questions. So I can say things like, question, no, I've not got a lot of experience with dry food, blah, 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 blah. And you can just see the interesting questions without the waffle and the me going, where did I put how can I open, what's happened with this such and such? You know, a more professional, it's not more professional, you know what I mean. Scott says, watching my Discus Aquarium and Graham Friday night, can't get better, quite right. Well, I'm grumpy as balls, hit like button, go, quite right. Is your tankard, do you know what, my tankard still isn't in the dishwasher, I've just literally grabbed that out of sheer absent-mindedness. Apologies. Gets better with more sips. No, it doesn't. It's got an aftertaste. The initial drink is nice. Right, hang on, where do we get to? There was a question, wasn't there? There was it. Question, would you recommend Biohome Ultimate or would you say it's overrated? Yes, I think is the answer. So, overrated strong. I would definitely recommend Biohome Ultimate, but I would recommend it with some asterisks maybe. So I use it, I think it's great. I use it in, I'd say anything where I've got like external filters, I'll use Biohome in it. Granted, because I've got a lot of it, that's why I use it. It is expensive. There's no getting away from that. I always say that if your filtration system can handle a lot of capacity for a lot of media, then you don't need Biohome. So let's say you had a big massive sump, you could fill it with Alpha Grog and get the same kind of biological capacity as you would with a smaller volume of Biohome. So it's more about efficiency. If you're using a canister filter, Biohome's great because it gives you lots of capacity. I have done loads of testing with it and see whether the nitrate reducing capabilities of it hold water or not. I had my old Discus breeder friend, Tim, over at Corbin Discus. He used it in sumps, nice deep sumps, and he did some testing in it, and we showed that it did reduce nitrates after kind of 4-6 months. It did what it said on the tin. Now, is that valuable to you? I can't tell you that. If you just want a good filter media, lava rock's great. Ceramic rings are great. Loads of things are great, but it's like a scale up to how good you need it to be, and nobody needs their filter media to be the best. And I'm not saying that Biohome is necessarily the best. There's lots of other really, really good filtration media out there, but it's good and it does a job. Whether it's worth it or not is down to your use case scenario, I guess, is the way to look at it. So is it overrated? No, I wouldn't say it's overrated, but it's often providing something that not everybody needs. I'd put it like that. So these, my favourite use case scenario is smaller tanks like this, where I've got a hang-on back filter. I don't know if you can see it there. They come with like 3 cartridges, one's got sponge, and then 2 other little baskets that you're meant to put in like ceramic rings, or they give you bags of carbon or something like that, and you're like, this is nonsense. Cram them full of Biohome, and that's a lot of beneficial bacteria capacity that I've got in a very small space, and that's fantastic for me. And alright, that tank is overrun with plants and stuff like that, so it's never going to be short of ways to get rid of ammonia or whatever, but it's a fantastic use case scenario given the small area you've got to put media. That's your best bang for your buck in that situation. But if you've got a big sump, pot scrubbers, ceramic rings, anything, any old crap with enough space is going to give you the same biological capacity. So horses for courses, I would say. So I hope that makes sense. So not overrated, but I can see why some people say that because it's very expensive. And I should say that I used to sell Biohome, so my judgment might be clouded by that, but the reason I used to sell it was because I liked it. So I thought, well, great, if I can sell it because I like it. That was my USP. Anything that I liked, I'd try and find a way to source it and sell it myself. I noticed, thanks to someone, I think it was you, Nabokov fan, that Pond Guru, so he's the guy who makes the Biohome in the UK, he had put out a video about this new product they've got, which is kind of, from what I understand, sits in between what saltwater people would call live rock, where you have the rock in your tank as your filtration, basically. But it looks like it's the offcuts or the spoils from making Biohome. They've used it to make into aquarium decorations and aquarium rock structures and things like that. And he put out a call to say, has anybody got any channels? Do you want to try this stuff out? And I know Richard from Pond Guru, from sourcing and selling his stuff and various emails we've had over that he's been around my house to have a look at my tanks before. So I dropped him an email and said, yeah, well, I'd love to try that out. And I know fine well he'll be happy for me to say, I think this is terrible and I don't like it, as much as he will be to say that I love it. Because he will respect my honest opinion and I will give my honest opinion. So I'm hopeful, I haven't been accepted or anything yet, but I'm hopeful that I get some of that to try out, because it looks interesting, if nothing else. Scott's in, saying, evening all. Sorry, I just saw this other. Dear Fluval, please will you make an efficient light kit for an 8x4 aquarium that only uses 10 watts? I had the same conversation with them. I was like, oh, you know that Aquas guy sent me? He sent me like 6 more. I'm pretty sure they have an eco one that works, not for plant though. Let me check what. Yeah, I think the lowest one's like kind of. Is it just under 20 watts or just over 20 watts, something like that? My fishy plans this weekend: water changes on fry rack, and then catch a whole heap of fishies to sell. Very good. Definitely. No, it doesn't. I'm spending the weekend doting on my parrot, who spent most of today at the vet's. I'm now 500 quid later. Oh, I've always wanted a parrot. I think it'd just be good to have, like, on a live stream. Hello, this is Jeff. I don't know why it would be called Jeff, but you know. Feet up in front of the tank tonight, watching my Rumino's display team giving me a good show. Quite right. Drinking apple beer, says Scott, and rhubarb Streisand milkshake. Rhubarbra. Oh dear. Oh, I found a thing. So, obviously, I'm drinking this one right now. But the reason I'm drinking this one is because this brewer is at the top of my spreadsheet of all my favourite beers. So, I think last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I had this one, the Transient. Again, DDH, but hazy DDH. This one will be nicer, I'm hoping. And then this one's currently sitting top of the list. The Heathen hazy IPA. This one just, it's delicious. And this is coming from a man who, a few short months ago, called all these weird beers and went, ew, whenever you put one in front of him. Now I'm actively seeking them out and going, oh, delicious. But this, they've raised the price to £4.50 a can, and that's not sustainable for me, I'm afraid. So that's not going to last. So I typed in Northern Monk Brewery into old interwebs and found out they're just up the road in Leeds. Oh, that's useful. And if you look at all their beers, oh yeah, there's the Faith. That's the kind of standardy one. That's fine. That's lovely. Oh, there's my favourite one, Heathen. £3.60. £3.60. The buggers, Morrison. Adding an extra quid on per can. So you can sign up for like a 10% voucher, and then if you get to 50 quid, it's free delivery. So we've got all these other things on here, so I think I might try that. Unless anybody wants to send them a message and say, whoa, there's a man on Tinterwebs called Aquarium Adventures has been pushing your beers and saying how delicious they all are. Why don't you send them some free stuff? But yeah, I might put together some kind of gift box for myself. Fish channel. We are a fish channel, not a beer channel. Humble Grumble, hello there. Aquatic Moose, Aquarium Adventures. Mark Shrimp Tanks has a great video on dehydrated wafers for shrimp, but no fish or prawns in his recipe. Thanks, I'll check it out. I watched your videos this AM. Thank you. Yes, I think I've seen Mark. He does one where he makes it again, which I mercilessly copied. Makes one from duckweed. It's like, what can you do with duckweed when you have a load of duckweed? So right now, I just use it to feed my goldfish. But you can scoop up your duckweed and reconstitute it into algae wafers with a few tweaks and extra ingredients, which is a really good idea. Because duckweed's just... It's one of those things where 90% of people are like, yeah, that'll grow in my toilet even though I flush it 5 times a day. And other people are like, no, I've got 10 tanks, can never grow the stuff, I'll happily pay for it. And you're like, what? I don't get that. Chat is kerploding a lot tonight. What does that mean? You need an emergency. The perfect opportunity for an emergency. You're quite right. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Got to be more prepared. I literally was downstairs at 5 to 9 and went, ooh, stream. And ran up. M. Lebo says, Graham, thanks for the discus maintenance video. Love to see your new sump setup. Apologies if you've done one recently. I haven't done one recently. And to be fair, my sump video was one of my most popular videos of the last couple of years. So yeah, I'll do another one. Why not? I use Seachem Matrix in my sump, both regular and pond. Do you put any media in your return pump section? I don't, but I see that others do. I don't, but that's purely because my sump is massive. It's a 4-foot sump. I don't need to use any extra in there, but there's no reason why you wouldn't put media in your return pump section. It's just another section to fill with stuff. Just my sump is segregated into sections, so I don't need to do it, so I don't. But yeah, nothing wrong with it. I should spin that out into a longer answer for when I edit this tomorrow. Remember, put question where there's a question so as I remember it. I don't know if you've considered a 6-clip channel needs a funny fish moments video every week. Just need the audience to be funny, so hey you, be more funny. Yeah, well, everyone, come on, pull your boots up, try and be more funny. Sponge is the best, then floss, then the rest is just for weighting down box filters. Yeah, do you know what? This is exactly a topic I've been thinking of for what is my favourite filter. So I was thinking about this, and my favourite filters in order, and you can hold me to this and keep me true because I'm going to think about this more, but I've spent all of 4 minutes thinking about this, is Sump is my number one favourite filter. And the reason for that is just sheer volume, all the benefits you get from a sump. So you can hide things in a sump like heaters, you can add CO2 reactors, you can have dosing machines, you can have all kinds of things you can hide in your sump, so your display tank is just your fish and just your aquascape or your decorations and all that kind of thing. So that makes that my number one. If I had a choice of any type of filtration, that's what I'd go for. Joint number 2s are for very different reasons: sponge filters and canister filters. So sponge filters for their pure simplicity and unbreakableness, and just nothing can go wrong with a sponge filter. Well, obviously something can go wrong with, but what I mean by that is it's literally all you need is a source of air and your sponge filter, and you're away and you're going. The drawbacks from it is you have a sponge filter sitting in your display aquarium. And the reason I go for the canister filters is it's so much more powerful than a sponge filter, and it minimises what you have in the aquarium. So you usually just have the intake and the returns in there. Hang-on back filters I put just below those two because, yes, they've just got that and a return, but they're noisy. So I can hear that hang-on back filter there when I'm down in the fish room. Humphrey's got my Seachem Tidal hang-on back filter on there. Love the filter, does a great job, but noisy. You've got water crashing in, whereas with a canister filter, you can adjust where the output comes, just like you can with sump overflows and sump returns and things like that. Sponge filter's a little bit noisy because you've got the bubbles breaking, and if you get it too high, they're blah, 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 blah. If you get it too low, it's fine. But it's those two very different, but just slight tweaks in why they're joint second, the sponge filter and the canister filter. And I used to say, and then I would still say this, to be honest, sponge filter would be number one in many circumstances. So it's number one in my fish room because I can have one air pump and run 30 tanks off that air pump. But if I had display tanks, it wouldn't fit the bill. You've got sponge filters in there, and it's fine sometimes, but if you want something that's really nice, it just doesn't work. And one of the things I've been thinking about recently, this is just tangent time, is redesigning my fish room altogether. At the moment, it's kind of set up for almost for breeding or quarantining, because there's lots of empty tanks or bare tanks where I've got fish that I'm just enjoying having fish. I'm thinking I might go down the route of having fewer tanks. No, let's split this down. I'm thinking of splitting it out into a breeding section where I have tanks where I breed, and a nice section where I have tanks that are escaped. So rather than having, of my 6 foot racks, having like 4 or 5 tanks on each shelf of those 6 foot racks, I might have 2 on each shelf of those 6 foot racks and spend a bit of time making them look nice. I think the more time I spend in the fish room, that might give me more pleasure. I don't know. What are you thinking? Pardon me. Dangerous Dan with an alternate opinion. Regret wasting my money in Biohome. I have 4 kilograms in the 240 litre tank. 8 months later, still needing to do 50% weekly water changes. I mean, I don't think there's a filter media out there that will give you the ability not to do water changes. That's not really what it does. Question: Have you ever seen his pond filter or to his pond? Is this Pond Guru? If you're talking about Pond Guru, if you mean the big massive pond filter he had under his house, under the deck. I've not seen it in person, but I've seen the videos, yeah. Very ironically unavailable in the EU. How do you feel about a Fuval branded 3-watt spotlight? What do you think? Mega Tank needs 1 or 10,000? Yeah, probably 10,000. A question from Juggler: do you still mess around with 3D printing, and if so, what sort of stuff have you been making for the fish room? I'll show you, he says confidently, being unable to find it. So this is a bit of a prototype. Pardon me. Filter overflows. I've been making these for both my display tank and for Mega Tank, so that's like a small version of what sits on the overflows for Mega Tank. I've been making all kinds of things. I've made heater brackets, so as I keep my heaters off either the glass or the sump in this case. A whole bunch of things. I use it quite a lot for all kinds of stuff. Pardon me. Timothy with the question, in your opinion, what is the best exotic pleco under 8 inches that's suitable with American cichlids? I'm afraid I just plain don't know. If you hang around for a while and see freshwater ichthyology, she might tell you that. I have fairly limited experience with exotic plecos. I've got a cactus pleco at the moment. That's under 8 inches, and that's pretty cool, and would probably be fine with American cichlids. But yeah, that's the be and the end all of my experience of exotic plecos, really. So sorry, I don't know. Aquaballs. Kinney Master. What? Sorry, I lost the thing. Kinney Master raised the price from $22 to $120. No thanks. So Kinney Master, it seems, I never knew why Kinney Master was so popular. I tried it and really did not get on with it. I know lots of people use it, but it's, a thing has happened. Warren Ventnor has become a member. Thank you, Warren. You now have access to all kinds of emojis and things. KineMaster's an editing software, I believe. Is it because it works on your phone? Is that maybe where you go for? For editing, I use Vegas, which can be found very cheaply, and that's a lifetime thing. But even the free versions, DaVinci Resolve, completely free, all fully featured. I mean, you can get the paid version for even more features, but you know, it does a very good job. That's a good answer. Whatever pleco comes from the same region as the cichlids. Brian's on the Tenants website, and they have an interesting lager with a hint of whiskey. Usually I'm looking up fish. But yeah, let's look up some Tenants lager. For those of you who don't know, Tenants lager is the beer of Scotland. Where would it be? I remember going on a tour of the Tenants Brewery just because someone told us you were allowed to drink as much as possible before you had to leave. Our beers, our lineup. Thirsty, yeah, get on with it. Tenants Lager, Tenants Light, gluten-free tea. Ooh. Nope, can't find it. I'm running a daisy chain of 10 3-watt spots currently, but they suck. Yeah, they were the ones you recommended to me, weren't they? I think they'd do quite well for a fish room, but I don't think they'd do well for Megatank. I tested it with, I've got 10-watt spotlights, like actual spotlights, and it just doesn't penetrate enough in Megatank. I think it's just too deep. Martin says, we've had the community aquarium, now do we need a Northern Monk sponsored aquarium? Guessing you don't fancy a monkfish in Mega... I mean, if I could get Northern Monk to sponsor me, I'd happily have a a monkfish or any other... They do, like... This is Fantasyland, but they do collaborations with other local businesses and stuff. So like one of them they've got is with a comic book store or a comic book graphic artist or something. And there's been all kinds of things with, there's a local lead artist, so here's a thing with them. So I'm like, I'm a local Sheffield aquarist. Do you fancy doing me a beer? But anyway, we'll move on to my favourite just to wash down the palate from that last one. We've got the Heathen, which does have a bit of a smell. This is the hazy IPA, it's called. So it's got a similar look almost identical. But I know this one doesn't have any minging aftertaste or anything like that. People pay for duckweed. That stuff's like Day of the Triffids. Exactly. So 99% of people's experience of duckweed is, I've never bought duckweed, and now my fish room is overrun with it. But I've seen it for sale, like on eBay. People sell, 20 grams of duckweed, £5. And you're like, what? You give me £5 to take it? What? I don't get that. How? 100% on the sump video. It's how I got started, but it would be great to see any updates and upgrades. Well, to be honest, if anything, the sump has been downgraded because I got a bit lazy when I reset it up again. So I haven't added any of my the doser's not running on it, CO2 is not running on it. It's basically just a plain old sump at the moment. So maybe get a bunch more plants, or set up CO2 again and get the fertilizer doser on there and make it a bit more interesting, because now it's just a sump. I'd make a video where I said, well, water comes in here, it goes along there, it goes back in the tank there. The heater. That would be it. I struggle to make that out to 10 minutes worth of content. Pardon me. Best filter is plants. Guessing it's a pre-filter though. Do you have a switch or button on your spooky, I said switch and the light went out. I know why that happened. That happened because I unplugged that light to charge my Ring doorbell. So what we will do is we will plug in that light again. I'm blinded. There we go. Do you have a switch or button on your sump to turn off the water pump? I hate that expensive freeze-dried blackworm gets sucked in when I feed my discus. I do. So my return pump has a feeding button where you press the button, it turns the pump off for 10 minutes. I think I saw your question about this earlier. Really good, really useful, because that means you don't forget to turn it back on, which is usually my problem with most of these things. Anything that relies on my memory, it's just a recipe for disaster or failure, if nothing else. So yeah, literally, and lots of sump pumps have this, especially when they're designed for aquarium use. They have a little button on it, you press it, it lasts for, sometimes you can set the duration, but in general it's 10 minutes. You feed your fish, it doesn't overflow and suck all the food down into the sump, and then the fish get their feeding and or a chance to at least fall down into the water column, then it spins back up again. I can't remember if I did a video about this, but when I had just a plain old on-off sump, I had it connected to a smart plug, and I just had a routine with my computer assistant, home assistant thing, where I could say, hey computer, feed the fish, and it would turn off the pump for 10 minutes and then turn it back on again, all on its own. So there's a couple of options for that, if that helps. Right, 15 minutes until we get to the point of having quiz time. I've gone overboard tonight and I've given it extra 5 questions. So there's 20 questions tonight. And I've even used, just to be all relevant and current, I've used ChatGPT to create some of the questions. So some of the ones that it gave me were hilarious, but I haven't used them. I've used the ones that actually make a little bit of sense. And other admin, click subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Second channel, go and click the second channel. Want to get to at least 100 subscribers on the second channel. Come on, it's not too much to ask. Short end breeding versus long end scaped section sounds pretty nice. That's where I was going for, yeah. I think you plumbed an auto top off system into your sump. I can't do that. Do you have a standard auto top off system for any of your tanks? I'd love to see the plumbing for one. I did. So I had, and again, I don't have any more. I haven't done that in the current sump, but just lazy Graham. That's all I can say. I had one where I had a tank that sat next to the sump under the main aquarium. That would be full of water, and then that had an off-the-shelf auto top-up system where it had a tiny little pump that sat in the tank and a water sensor that sat in the sump, and when that water level in the sump got too low, it would kick on and fire over some water, so only maybe once a month or once every couple of months you would fill up the reservoir. I had it hooked in directly with a float switch on the water so that it could just fill it as and when. That was a bit of a disaster, so I wouldn't recommend that. But the off-the-shelf versions were fairly good. I just found them to be a bit hit and miss with accuracy. Sometimes they just wouldn't kick on. You had to go over and give it a little tap, and then it would go, oh yeah, already I've run out of, and then it would fill up that way. So I'm just keeping it simple at the moment, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. My dog is whining to get into my daughter's bedroom. It's doing my head in. I'm going to have to shout at it and say shut up. So I'm going to move the microphone over here for a second.
Ollie, shut up!
I'm sure that was completely silent and you didn't hear any of that unprofessional behaviour. The only thing that will eliminate water changes is a different form of nutrient export, like a protein skimmer or excessive plant growth. Exactly. Yeah. Filter medias aren't going to get... Oh, almost broke my microphone again. Filter medias aren't going to get rid of the requirement to do water changes. And that's because water changes aren't just about removing nitrates, they're also about replacing minerals. Exactly. Any thoughts on charcoal or aquachar in the aquarium or as a substrate amendment? I was sent some aquachar once. I can't remember why. So my thoughts on charcoal, activated carbon, all those kind of things is, yeah, it's great, it does a thing, but I think it does a thing rather than something that you would constantly use. I'm going to kill this dog. Arnie, what is your problem? I'm sure they've got their place. I'm sure they do their things. Just running 20, 30 tanks, whatever it is, I've never found I really needed to use them. I've used charcoal when I've had really bad water quality issues, and I've just dumped a load of charcoal and things to hopefully clear things up a little bit quicker, and that did work. But I don't know enough about it to say, oh, it's bunkum and don't ever use it. It seems fine and seems to do, people are happy with it and it does what it's meant to do, but I've never really found a need for it, if that makes sense. The ghost has migrated upstairs from the fish room. You know what? The fish room has had a massive infestation of flies. I went down the other day and it was fine. I worked from the fish room. I was doing my work. Everything was fine. Fish tanks. Went upstairs. Next day, came down to feed the fish. And it was literally like a scene from a horror movie. It was like just flies everywhere. And I was like, what the... How's this happened? Could not find anything. Don't know where they were coming from. So I hung up loads and loads of fly paper because obviously I didn't want to spray loads of chemicals to get rid of them. Could I shepherd them out the fish room? No, they weren't having any of that. And they've all gone now because the fly paper's caught them all. But it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I must have used 6, maybe even 8 rolls of fly paper and hung it all over the fish room. And now it's just like, oh, such a gross scene of death, of dead flies everywhere. They appeared one day and now they're gone. I don't know what's happened. Obviously, they must have come from somewhere. They've been dormant since last year and they've just waited for it to heat up a bit. I have no idea what's going on. Nabokov fan says, I use the Casa plugs and app to turn things on, off, and then set on a timer. Yeah. I've found that, so the Casa plugs, I suspect they're more famous because I think they're the ones Corey from Aquarium Co-op suggests. I've used all the cheapo brands and they're all pretty much the same thing. Any kind of smart plug, it's the Alexa or the Google Smart Home or the Apple Smart Home or whatever the smart home thing that controls them is the bit that does the clever bit. So they tend to be fine as long as you've got a smart plug that works at all. And then it's a case of getting your routines down. So with the Alexa word, it's called routines. You set a routine, smart, turn thing off, wait 10 minutes, turn thing back on. And they're kind of foolproof. Plug your pump filter into a smart plug and then set the timer or ask Alexa to do something fancy with it. That's exactly what I'm talking about, yes. Beer gives you the sensation of swimming in a Scottish river, but you might end up saying Bob a lot. A mega quiz! Yes, we're going to have a mega quiz tonight. Sorry, my chat just shot down to the bottom. Inventation of flies. Have you seen Amityville? I've seen lots of horror films and it's like, oh my god, what's happened here? Has someone killed a dog and thrown it in here? Ooh. Subscribe to the second channel. Thank you, Scott. There is the link if you want to subscribe to the second channel. If you wouldn't mind, it'd be it's very humbling to have 15,000 subscribers, announce a second channel and have 70 of them, 70 of your 15,000 subscribers go, yeah, right then. I'll subscribe. I'll bite. And then of those 70, 20 watch the videos that you put out. So it's like, not quite as big a reach as I thought I had. I'm just going to load up the quiz now, so it gives you all a chance to get prepared, as they say. My profile. Aquarium Adventures 104. I've called it the wrong thing. What an idiot. How do I edit it? Just like that. So, is this the one? This is the link for the quiz, which we will be starting in about 5 minutes. You can join in if you can. Remembering that this is a fun quiz, I will be entertaining no shenanigans if you don't agree with my answers. They are my answers. So you have to get into the brain of Aquarium Adventures. What would he think the answers were, rather than what the answer actually is? There's 20 questions this week. We're levelling up. 20 questions, a mix of actual fish questions, fish-related questions, and completely unrelated fish questions. So we'll give that a few more minutes to let you catch up. Would Aquarium Adventures beer make you have a mega leak? It probably would.
Oh, my balls.
Oh, my balls has happened. What's happened there? Warren has donated something. 35 ZARs. Thank you very much, Warren. I don't know what a ZAR is, but I very much appreciate it. I use API water conditioner. I believe what? I believe PG likes API stuff. Not sure what I could... A picture of that would help. I obviously missed half that conversation. I can see using charcoal with certain plants, but you have to watch out for them pulling those delightful tannins out of the water. Yeah, I mean, charcoal, carbon, all those kind of things. If you use them as a filter media, they definitely do that. Some people like that, some people don't like that. it does a thing. It sounds like organic charcoal is safe. It's safe enough. It won't adversely affect your water chemistry unless you're throwing in like tons and tons of the stuff. It's not going to swing anything to the point where a fish would get upset about it. It's just that it does a thing. That's probably the best way that I'm willing to admit saying what it does is it does a thing. If it does that thing that it does is what you want it to do, then it's for you. It's just not for me. Flypapers are the best for that. Yeah, that was the only thing I could think of, rather than going around with a swat. But oh god, it's disgusting. I really like the Miros 3 outlet smart plug. It's humidity and splash resistant compared to the Casa. Very good. Casa equals Trend Micro. Cheapest chips here in a 4-pack and strip version. But yes, just want one that works. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. One of the videos I watched last year was Aquarium Adventures water change system using an HMA. Best thing I ever did was fit one myself. Auto water change using a garden timer on the hose. Yeah, that was my old school method of doing water changes as well. So then I couldn't flood the place. You just set it to run for 30 minutes and it would just do its thing. My guess is a dead mouse or rat somewhere in the crawl space. That or the goat blood from a satanic ritual. Could be one of those. Pardon me. There's the super chat from Warren. Thank you very much, Warren. Very much appreciated. Can we have an update video on Snowflake? You can. That was one of the other Fluval sponsored videos I was talking about, where I do have a Fluval Roma tank already with a Fluval Aqua Skylight in it, and we were talking with my daughter saying, well, shall we upgrade Snowflake and put him in the big tank? See how he likes it, because he's getting a bit old now, Snowflake. Don't know how old he is actually, but he's been around a while, so I thought, well, I'll give him the rest of his life to live out in a big tank, see how he likes that. So we might be doing that soon as well. There you go. If you're wanting to join the quiz, or if you're watching on the replay and you want to play with your friends, we might, I don't know. Garage floors are notorious hiding places for serial killers in products. Just saying. I'm pretty sure it's a fish or something like that. Right. Have we got some players in? Let's have a look. Go on to Little Face. We're up to 14 players so far, so I'll give you another couple of minutes where we've got a couple of questions. ZAR is a South African rand. See, you learn things here as well. Have you considered submersible lights for Megatank? Pond lights or even the bar aquarium style can be daisy chained and would supplement some of the above lighting nicely, I think. I hadn't considered that, I must be honest. Maybe. I just hadn't thought about it, yeah. Hello, Graham, says Paul McCarthy. Hello, Paul McCarthy, says Graham. South African rand, not much in pounds, just doesn't matter how much it is, it's very much appreciated. I appreciate your DIY attitude and feedback. Thank you. Sub to the other channel, that's what we want. Thank you very much. Right, 15 players. Are we only going to have 15 players on the quiz? Really? More questions than players? 16, there we go. Come on, I put in over an hour of effort into this quiz. Be sure to hit the hide leaderboard for suspense mode. Oh, do you want me to be more suspenseful this time? Okay. So do I understand the rules? Don't confuse you with the facts. Exactly. So, the rules of the quiz, in fact, we'll go over them in a minute. It's 22:01. Are we ready? In fact, I'm now thinking about editing this tomorrow. Welcome everyone to the Aquarium Adventures Friday night Fishy Business Quiz. We have 20 questions for you tonight. The rules are as follows. You get points for answering a question fastest, but you have to be correct as well. The questions I have made up, they may not be entirely true. I'm going to be try and make them as true as possible, but they're what I think is true rather than what might be true. So any inconsistencies, tough. You just have to put up with it. The winner of the quiz will get a small prize. You have to tell me where you live in order for me to send you said small prize. If you are not in the UK, you might have to nominate a UK player for said small prize. And with that said, we have 19 players. Feel free to join anytime you want. But 19 players so far. Are we ready to go? Drum roll please. And I will kick off the quiz. Question 1. You have 30 seconds for all these questions. Hide the leaderboard for now. What has 9 brains, 3 hearts, and 8 arms? Is it A, 3 giant squids, B, 2 crabs, C, 1 cuttlefish, or D, 1 octopus? What do you think? You just have to be right. You don't have to be fastest, because some people won't be fastest. The answer is, of course, 1 octopus. Question 2. How many fishy things are in this picture? You can try and count. I literally had to print this out and cross them off as I counted them. So I'm very sure I know the answer to this one. I've had it officially verified by an independent third party. Is it A, 29, B, 44, C, 33, or D, 37? If you're listening to this in audio mode, I apologise. The answer is D, 37. Question number 3. CEO of which that's not easy for me to say. CEO of which social media company was grilled this week by seemingly old people with seemingly no grasp of reality? Was it TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube? I realise I've used the word seemingly twice in the same sentence. I apologise. Who was grilled by old people with no idea what they were talking about? It was TikTok. What country is this? So we've got the outline of a country. Is it Canada, Mexico, Argentina, or Brazil? Come on, you know this. Saline Aquatics coming up with the excuses already. Too small on a phone. That might be a hindrance for all these things. I do apologise. Feedback's always welcome on the Discord channel. So what country is it? It is Brazil. What indicator of improved water quality has been recorded in the River Mersey this year for the first time in decades? What indicator of improved water quality has been recorded in the River Mersey this year for the first time in decades? A, salmon, B, sharks, C, trout, D, oysters. What has been found? I would not have guessed this. Oh, it was sharks. Anyway. 2023 Oscars were the what time awards that have been held? So were they the 85th Oscars award? Were they the 95th Oscars, the 105th Oscars, or the 90th Oscars? It was only a few weeks ago. Can you remember what they said? Welcome to the what Oscars? The 95th Oscars. Another one for people on phones will be too small. What kind of fish is this? Is this an angelfish, a plecostomus, a goldfish, or a discus? A goldfish or a discus? It's not a goldfish. Long-time subscribers should know the answer to this one. It should be fairly obvious. If you're just joining us, there's a link further up where you can join in the quiz. It's a discus, obviously. Question number 8. The word piranha translates in English to A. Knives, B. Saw, C. Scissors, or D. Dagger. That was the scariest picture of a piranha I could find. A sneaky shark question, indeed. There's actually 5 different types of shark were found in the River Mersey. Piranha translates to scissors. Where is the world's oldest public aquarium? Is it in the UK, the USA, Japan, or France? Remember, the pictures that I use often aren't anything to do with the answer. That's just a picture of a public aquarium. Or is it? Where is the world's oldest public aquarium? It's in the UK, and that is a picture of the world's oldest public aquarium. It's the Sea Life Centre in Brighton. The Shed Aquarium in Chicago boasts a world record for housing the most amount of different species of fish. How many does it host? Is it 400, 1100, 1500, or 700? All impressive answers, if you ask me. This is the halfway point of the quiz, so we'll show the leaderboard after this to check in. 1,500 species of fish. Oh my goodness, Lord Silveriest is leading the way. Oh, and just taken over by Nabro and Juggler. What is the largest species of fish in the world by weight? Where is Scott? Scott is nowhere to be seen. Oh dear, Scott, you're miles behind. You'll have to make a massive comeback. I'm going to leave the leaderboard up from now on so you can all see where you are. Largest species of fish in the world by weight is, of course, the whale shark, because the blue whale is not a fish. Fish, lead singer of Marillion, fish related, went by his real name of... What is his real name, basically? Fish, the lead singer of Marillion, real name was Derek William Dick, William Dennis Butt, Frank Alice Wiener, David Wallace Cocker. Which of them is real? Does anybody know, or is this going to be a guess for everyone? The answer is Derek William Dick. Question 13. SpaceX and NASA launched a crew this month. What is their destination? Is it the ISS, the Moon, Mars, or China's Tiangong Space Station? I'm probably murdering that pronunciation. So, a missile went up this month. Where are they going? To be fair, says Nabokov, eventually Mars, but this time the ISS. In the news this week, a 5,000-mile wide blob of seaweed is heading for the shores of which US state? Is it Alaska, California, Maine, or Florida? Look at the lead change so drastically. Nabo's in front. Lord Silveriest's now gone back down into, what's that, 6th place? 7th place? It's tight at the top though. Anyone's game. It's Florida. That's where that 5,000-mile blob is going. Which country has been named the world... Start again. Which country has been named the world's happiest for the 6th year in a row? Is it Sweden, Finland, Ireland, or New Zealand? Sweden, Finland, Ireland, or New Zealand? The answer is Finland. 6 years in a row to live in Finland. Who would have thunk it? What type of fish is a staple ingredient in the traditional French bouillabaisse soup? What type of fish is a staple ingredient in the traditional French bouillabaisse soup? Is it salmon, cod, mackerel, or monkfish? A, B, C, or D? That's all you have to do. Come on, Silver Creek. You can do this. Let's get back up to the top. A cooking question. It's monkfish. That's the cooking answer. Question 17. Asteroid 2023 DZ2 will pass between the Earth and the Moon this week. How big is it? Lord Silveriest is making a comeback. He's back on the leaderboard. Oh, he's just ducked off again. Is it 90 metres, 150 metres, 22 metres, or 220 metres? How big is asteroid 2023 DZ2? It is 90 metres. It's a city killer size. What is the name of the specialised cells in a fish's skin that allow it to change colour for camouflage or communication? Are they melanocytes, epidermal cells, chromatophores, or goblet cells? Melanocytes, epidermal cells, chromatophores, or goblet cells? It's anyone's game, this. There's only a few points in it with a few questions to go. They are, of course, chromatophores. Why did actress Gwyneth Paltrow appear in court this week? Crimes against candle scents, a skiing hit and run, drink driving, genocide. Why did Gwyneth Paltrow end up in court this week? Was it her vagina candles, skiing accident, drink driving, or genocide? It was her skiing accident. Last question. What is particular about Physostomus fish? Physostomus fish. They have a swim bladder, they have no scales, breathes air, or it can change sex. What is particular about Physostomus fish? I'm saying that fast and confidently as if I know that's how it's really pronounced. I have no idea. It's a swim bladder, no scales. Well, swim bladder. We have a winner. Juggler, you are this week's winner. Juggler, if you want to send me your contact details, we'll get a prize out to you. If you don't live in the UK, you can nominate someone else. But well done, Juggler. Let's have a quick look down the rest of the leaderboard. Juggler, 271 points. Nabo on 238. So there's a bit of a margin there. You ran away with it at the end, Juggler. Martin on 235. Aaron, Jack, Lord Silveriest on 220. So these are all good scores. Tiskin, Brian, Mark, Red Laser, Fat Kids, we at Seesaw. Sharpie's there, Christine, Dangerous Dan, all the way down to T on 4. Everyone scored some points this week. That's the first, I think. I don't think everyone's scored points before. But congratulations one more time to Juggler, Nabo and Martin for getting the medal places. Congratulations all. I hope you found that enjoyable. Ping me on Discord. Well done, Juggler. Happy to have it. Still enjoying the quiz? Do we think it's a good thing? Should we move it earlier, later? I was enjoying some of the comments that were coming in. Drunk skiing genocide. So, a cooking question. Yes, indeed. I'm trying to mix it up. I'm trying to make it as fair as possible for people who aren't proper fish geeks, who you get a bit of an advantage for being a fish geek because you might know the answer. I've got some fish geeky questions in that nobody would know the answer to, and some random questions that the fish geeks would never know the answer to. So that was the whole thinking behind it. I hope it makes more sense. I should pay more attention. Well, no, because you're a fish geek, so you get to answer the fish geeky questions. Brian made the top 10. Congratulations. Oh, maybe these beers are stronger than I thought they were. Mega quiz is the best quiz. Good. I thought something about Gwyneth's court case smelt a bit fishy. You gave the cooking question earlier in the stream talking about sponsored beer. I've got to stop talking about these things. Yeah, I did, didn't I? So we might have to do the quiz earlier so as I don't give away all the answers. You've no idea how hard it is to come up with questions for this. I used chat... can I find it now? Oh no, I've rebooted since then. But I used ChatGPT to help me with some of the questions, and some of the answers it gave me were ridiculous. It was like, one of them was... I mean, it was really good. So I said, give me 10 fish-themed questions with 4 possible answers for a quiz. And yeah, it would do it straight away. One of them was, what is the name of the fin generally on the back of a fish, which helps it with stability and direction? And it said dorsal fin, pectoral fin, tail fin, or mouth brooder. And the answer was mouth brooder. And I was like, what? Where are you getting that from? And another one was like, which of these is a popular fish used in sushi? Lamb, chicken, beef, or tuna? And you're like, okay, thank you for that, ChatGPT. Brilliant. But anyway, it's fun. It's fun, isn't it? Current affairs saved my ass. See, I hope some people would get a little bit of everything from everyone, yeah? Well, that was a new one on me. Liverpool, the River Mersey now has 5 different species of farks. I'm going to have to put an end to weird beers. It's just not going to work. 5 different species of shark live in the River Mersey now. After several weeks of trying, finally got the quiz to work. I'm glad it did. I mean, if anyone out there does this more often and you could think of a different platform that works better for everyone, but this seems to work. We usually get 20-ish people. Who knows? If you want to submit your own questions, if you want to subscribe to the channel, but if you want to submit questions, DM me either on Discord, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, any of those things. What's not going to work is just posting the questions on the Discord server publicly, because then everyone will see the answers. But yeah, anything to help with the quiz, because it's the one part of the live stream that takes more time. As you will have seen from me, I'm not the most professional person in the world. I tend to turn up and go, oh, live stream, hello, stuff. But I have to put in a little bit of effort to put the quiz together, and I always think, it's a quiz, it's 20 questions of fishy stuff and non-fishy. That'll take 2 minutes, 2 hours later. It takes a lot longer than you think. So anybody that wants to help with the quiz, to be the quiz master, maybe I get to play along, to submit quiz questions, let me know. Get in contact, say, yeah, here's 10 questions. They don't need to be fishy questions, they can just be random questions. That's all fine. It's good to hear we can still outsmart ChatGPT. Well, Google launched their AI bot, which apparently is like light years ahead. I've not tried it yet, but I've heard things. Right, beer number 3. We're on a Northern Monk week. So if you're watching from Northern Monk, I like your beers. Send me some. This one is the Transient Hazy DDH, which we now know stands for double dry hops, something like that. I had this one a few weeks ago. It was perfectly acceptable and nice. If I remember rightly, not quite as hazy as the others. Bit lighter, bit smellier, but tasty enough. There we go. I mean, they've all been pretty much of a muchness tonight, haven't they? I've definitely found my niche. Or if you're in America, niche. Last thing I heard about Paltrow was adding lemon juice to alkaline water for health benefits. Yeah, to make pH neutral water. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Currently doing research on River Mersey and their shark ecology. Thank you very much. It's made my day. Yeah, I literally thought no one's going to get this one. Why would you guess sharks live in a river? There's only like 2 types of shark that live in rivers. And then I was a bit like, really? Oh, who would have thunk it? So I thought other people might appreciate that one. The only thing I know about Paltrow, wasn't she an actress? Yes. I mean, she was quite a good actress, but she also is ditzy as hell. She's famously played Pepper Potts, the assistant in the Marvel films and Iron Man and all that kind of stuff. I remember seeing an interview with her where she forgot she was in like 4 or 5 of the films, where people go, "No, you were in that one." She's like, "Was I? Don't remember that." I'm like, oh, what a life to not remember what films you were in. If anyone paid me hundreds of thousands of dollars to do anything, I would remember it. Will you take spider questions? I'll take any questions. That's the whole thing about the quiz is ideally I want to do 20 questions every week. I've done 15 questions up until now, but ideally I'd like to do 20 questions every week, 10 of which are vaguely fish related. I want to do at least 5 proper fish geek questions, at least 5 vaguely fish related questions, and the rest can be anything. Because I want it to be inclusive. I want other people who don't necessarily, they might have an aquarium and stumble across this channel. They don't know what L number does this over that, or what, it's a bit of, yeah, well, I saw the news today, so I know an answer to a question. Everyone gets to have a bit of a go. 5 different types of shark have been found in the River Mersey, just decades after it was declared biologically dead. Exactly. You've obviously found the same article I was reading. Oh dear. So you're now going to see a comment from Sharpie, which is a different way of describing what I just said. She was the secretary bint from Iron Man. Ah dear. That tickled me no end. I'm sorry. The river was the river was home to no more than 15 species of animals when surveys were done building the Mersey Gateway Bridge in 2002, thanks to industrial pollution and sewage. The findings come after 37 different species of fish were caught by anglers in 2022, nearly 2.5 times the number of species found in 2002. Exactly. It's quite the turnaround they've had. It's the same with, so I live in Sheffield. My old house was on the banks of the River Don, and it's not that far away from me now still. But that was another one that was declared biologically dead. There's nothing in it. And they found salmon, trout, all kinds of things. They built the weirs, and they were getting past the weirs, and it was just the heavy industry. As soon as they got rid of the steel mills, the paper mills, the sawmills that were all based along the river, and cleaned it up a little bit, everything just came flooding back. It's amazing. Are you the quizmaster? I'm the holder of knowledge. Yeah. Are you Gozer? I will seriously be sending that brewery an email asking for a box to be sent to your way with their flavour preference. Flavour preference. Heathen. Northern Monk Heathen. It's my favourite one. So far, second favourite. Transient. Unfocusable. But I've yet to find one I didn't like. I mean, this one's got a bit of an aftertaste, but yeah. They all taste nice. Question, are you still thinking of mini Megatank? If so, what line are you thinking? I saw one today, an Aussie guy used mostly pond paint apart from around the maybe. I'll go as far as a maybe. So what I've got is my old discus display tank with the 5-foot panel of glass from the front. I'm thinking of cutting that out and using that as the glass for another tank to go in fish room. Haven't decided what to do with the rest of it yet. That's literally as far as I've got, so no, I'm really thinking about it. Do Americans say it like that? I'm asking as an American. Yeah, in my experience, a lot of Americans, instead of saying niche, say niche. Even to the point where I've said, do you know you're saying that wrong? They go, am I? No, that's how we all say it. Well, it's a French word. Well, I'm an American. I'm saying it as American, so it's niche. Well, but no, it's not. So yeah, loads of people. I've literally had discussions with loads because it's one of my pet hates is people saying niche rather than niche. Pronunciations are pronunciations. I don't really care that much. It's just that's one of those words. When I hear it niche, and I'm like, ugh. Who's the guy that keeps doing it? There's a YouTube channel out there called, it's one of these how to make your YouTube channel better channels. Nick Nimmin, that's it. And I've followed him for a long time. When he had fewer subscribers than I did now, I used to follow him because he used to say, instead of saying, today I'm going to be doing a video, he'd say, today I'm going to be doing a video about, today I'm doing thumbnails, today I'm doing SEO. And I used to say to him, do you realise you're saying doing rather than doing? And he would be quite open and say, do you know what, you're right, I'm from whatever area it is he's from, that's the way we say it, it's like our drawl. But you're right, I'm now trying to reach an international audience, I'll stop saying it. He has not stopped saying it. And he kept doing the same thing with niche as well, saying, the really important thing, if you're doing YouTube, you need to find your niche. And I'm going, if I'm doing YouTube, doing to me is like what you do with a hammer. If you hit something, if you hit a hammer off another hammer or a bit of metal, it goes doing. If you're doing YouTube, you really need to drill down and find your niche. I'm going, if I'm doing YouTube, I need to find a niche. What's a niche? And then I realised, oh, you mean niche. No, niche. Niche. The word is niche, not niche. And then I kept finding other YouTube channels who would call it a niche. So it's just one of the peculiarities of, what do they say, America and Britain, two great nations separated by a common language. Two types of shark in the river. I knew bull sharks, and there's river sharks, but never together. You're blowing my mind. Quite right. To be fair, Oliver Reed couldn't remember most of the films he was in either. I'm sure if I was in a film and I was Oliver Reed, I wouldn't remember either. I learned something new about sharks. Imagine if I could teach you new things about discus. An awesome day. Yeah, I love it when you learn new things. It's great. Sorry, I was just reading your deleted comment, GB. I'll read it out. Spider question. If a big spider runs across your floor, what is the best thing to twat the fucker with? I might try and use that, yeah. But a Streamless says, please refrain from using foul language. I've just got all my necessary paperwork to sort out a British passport. I look forward to sorting passport and visiting my mum's homeland of Stirling in Scotland. I wish you well. Not much in Stirling. There's a monument and a castle and a field. A couple of shops. It's beautiful. If anyone's ever in Stirling, I 100% recommend the monument and climbing it and having a look out, because that is proper history there. I was just thinking that as Juggler says there. Good luck, because the passport office have just gone on strike for the next 6 months. Amazon Research Dr. Awesome's in. I have used fish trivia in my fish biology class all the time. Get some questions submitted in Discord, Dr. Anthony. Sorry, this made me laugh. So, international viewers, you will have no idea what we're talking about here. The new Jaws film on the Mersey, we're going to need a bigger shell suit. Liverpool is an often ridiculed area of Britain, a city in Britain where the Beatles come from. You'll know all that kind of stuff. But they also get a hard time, generally, colloquially, in the UK for being permed, mustachioed, shell suit wearing people. Let's go with that. I've only ever been to Liverpool a couple of times, and I must admit it was lovely. And everyone I've met from Liverpool has been lovely, but they have a bad rap stereotypically. Hey, calm down. Mersey shark fishers take the fins and leave the shark on bricks. Oh dear. River Mersey is the river they drove up on Top Gear with hoverboats. I can't find articles that they found sharks. I'm yet to find the 5 species. I thought the hoverboats was... I mean, the Mersey is quite big. It's what do they call them? Tributary river? No, that's not the word. Estuarial. Goes out to the sea river. Famously has a ferry on it. I'm sure the thing I found earlier, let's see if I can see. Mersey sharks. Five different types of shark have been found in the River Mersey just decades after it was declared biologically dead. So what are they? And humpback whales, apparently. See, this is one of those points where I feel the need to keep talking, but I haven't actually found the thing I want to talk about. 5 different types of shark have been found, as well as huge eels, sea scorpions, restaurant delicacies like turbot, and the very rare smelt. Really? So, this isn't the one that I found. Was it The Independent? Five different types of shark have been found: bullhuss, taupe, dogfish, smoothhound, stary smoothhound. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sharks are being a bit fast and loose with their definition of sharks. So if you find this article, the River Mersey now home to sharks after decades-long cleanup. This is the bit where they mention the sharks. So, there you go. Next week's quiz question: what Guy Ritchie film stars Brad Pitt? I know the answer to that one. Right. No point in putting the questions on the public forums. Then everyone gets a chance to either research it if they don't know it, or go, oh, I'll remember that for next time, so I can look out for it and get it quick. Haven't there been several Guy Ritchie films starring Brad Pitt? The one I'm thinking of is where he plays an Irishman, like a bare-knuckle boxer. But wasn't he also... I don't know. Aluminium. It's certainly not niche in Canadian English. Good. Plenty of pubs in Stirling. That is true. In Liverpool, you best drive fast or they'll nab your wheels. It's not that bad. NGW, hi from Doncaster. Hello from Sheffield, how are you? Right, we've got about 20 minutes left. This is generally the point where I say, if you've got any questions for me, now's the time to ask. And now that I've had 3 or 4 beers, if there's any potentially rantable things we can talk about, we might as well get them in. I had a couple of points that I wanted. This is my prep. Talk about things. Sunday is the next Sheaf Valley Aquarium Society auction. You know how much I love an auction. But I do have lots of fish tanks that are quite empty, so I might go along to said auction. And the last couple of times I've been to the auction, they've been trying to get rid of some decent fish. They've had some large cichlids like Oscars and jaguars and things like that. The last time they had the giant gourami that I just should have bought at the time, but Mega Tank wasn't quite ready for it. So I'm probably going to go along to the Sheaf Valley Aquarium Society auction. Let's see if I can find it on Tinterwebs. So if you fancy making it yourself, you can say hello and we can do it together and go, oh my god, this is so boring. But we just have to put up with it. Sheaf Valley. There you go. Sunday, 26th of March. Auction starts at 12 noon. That's when I'm going to arrive, because last time I got there at 11 and it was just had to sit there basically. So tropical cold water and equipment at the Rockingham Centre, £1 to get in. That basically joins you up as a 1 day thing. I'm 99% sure I'm going to go along. So if anybody else wants to come, I might need some backup, because I've slagged them off the last couple of auctions I went to, of how boring and slow and unorganised it was. So this time I'll be there with the hat and the dark glasses, sitting in the back going, me. But I'm hopeful that I can fill out some tanks. And one of the main reasons I want to do that, and why I'm talking about, they have some larger fish, is Mega Tank is doing great. Filtration wise, holding water wise, everything's doing great. But I've only got 2 fish in there at the moment. And they're not the best of friends. So I've obviously got my Oscars that I need to grow out a little bit more. I've got some things I can buy to add to the tank. So I've bought some pots, I've bought some other things that I can break up sight lines, put hiding spaces in. So I'm thinking I'm needing to add the Oscars. I'm needing to add something to Mega Tank to break up these 2 fish, just constantly having nothing else to do but play with each other. And it's the tilapia. So I've got tilapia and a giant snakehead. The giant snakehead's a bit like, dude, chill out. I'm 5 times bigger than you. If you keep annoying me, I will kill you. And the tilapia's like, will you? Yeah. Oh, will you? Will you? Will you? Oh, yeah. He's tried to. So he's got a big mark on his nose where he's tried to attack the snakehead, and the snakehead's gone, shut up. Get out of my face. So I need more fish in there to break up the aggression. And I've got 2 ways to go. Do I add one big fish, two big fish, or lots of smaller fish? And even when I say smaller fish, I still mean big fish. Just lots of fish to give them something else to do, but give those smaller fish, so if I do put in the Oscars, give those smaller fish lots of places to hide, that if they do start getting attacked, they can go, nope, I'm out of here, I'm going over there. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to the auction, because I'm thinking about those things. As well as just having lots of free tanks to try and fill things out a little bit. So if you are in the Barnsley, Sheffield, Rotherham area on Sunday, why not come along, say hello? The only Guy Ritchie one I know is Gwyneth Paltrow's Snatch. It is aluminum though. It's not. That's not how it's spelt. It's spelt aluminium. The Mersey is a tidal river. Exactly. Likely just found on the estuarine. That's the word I was looking for. Estuarine. It's an estuarine river. Aquarium Adventures, would you ever do a video reacting to your older videos? Seriously though, you have had a lot of tanks break, leak, ruin things in the house. Reference 200 subs video. So yes, I have been talking to Nabokov fan recently on email. I have had problems in the past, and not even ones I've made for myself. It's just happened. I have thought about it in the past. I had reason today. I'm just going to check and see whether they've uploaded the video. No, they haven't. But I had reason today to look back at some old videos, and it was fun. It was, oh, that's almost cute. Look at me trying to be a YouTuber. Look at me trying to make a video. So maybe that is something for the future. For a slow week, maybe. Reacting to my older videos. You've recovered from those issues with Grace. Oh, I don't know about that. I'd be terrified to add water given some of the things you've repaired. Does anyone have experience with Aqualantis tanks? I can't seem to find many reviews on them. I do not have any experience with Aqualantis tanks. Mark says, can I bid on the internet at the auction? I don't think that works like that. Although, send me a message on my phone if you want a fish, and I'll get it for you and send it down to you. But regarding the reacting to my old videos, so I don't want to ruin it because it's meant to be a surprise, but I did have cause to look back at some of my old videos. I'm just going to try and find some of them now. Because it's quite the difference. And most of the difference is how many videos have I got in total? I can't even remember. Uh, 130 videos? That can't be right. I thought I had like 400 videos. Oh no, it keeps going. Right, fine. But my first 50 videos, it's not even, I don't think I say a word in them. I think it gets to like video 200 before I actually go, hello. I realised more people than I know. And that's the whole thing about YouTube. This all started for me as, it was like, I bought a fish, so I recorded it on the day I bought it, and then 6 months later I recorded it again and see if it had grown or changed colour or done a thing or whatever it might be. And one of the things that made me think about a reaction video to that was I looked at Humphrey's. So Humphrey is my flower hornfish. I looked at his first video of me buying Humphrey and getting Humphrey into my tank, and him being like yay big, and now he's like yay big. It was the funniest thing ever. I'm now at 429. I'm just looking back through my old videos. So this is quite funny. This is the period where I thought, I'm just going to have the same thumbnail for everything so people recognise my brand. I had like 100 subscribers at this point. I didn't have a brand. This was Fish Room Update number 1. This is the first video I remember speaking in, I think. Maybe spoken some other ones before this, but I remember this one going. I literally didn't know how to edit videos, didn't know how to do anything. I remember looking in the camera and I could see the little screen that was pointing at me, and my eyebrow was doing weird things. Like, what? Why is my eyebrow do that? Anyway, hello, welcome to my fish room. And then watching it back and going, oh God, why didn't I cut that out before I uploaded it? Oh God, no. But this, for instance, I mean, this is how far I've come. This is a show discus. This won like best red fish at the Belgian discus show or something like that. And I managed to breed from it. And I look back at all these old videos going, oh, that's great, I've shown this video of me breeding these fish. Then this is the last time I ever talk about them. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I follow this up? Because I bred these two fish several times and I grew out some great fish and sold them well. And, I did really well with these fish. And like I say, this was a show winner. I'm like, oh, why didn't I just... why didn't I do more? And there's another thing in here I remember. No, I think this might be the first one that I ever talked in, where I built an overhead sump. The old days when you didn't speak in videos, you just had music. So basically, there you go. Remember when they were all the rage? You had your bottle filters, the moving beds. But I had an overhead sump where I pumped water into a big tote, through all that media, and then back down again. 33,000 views this video's got. I made all these in Microsoft Paint. Oh, look at the skills here. Let's bring back some memories. See, this is why I probably won't make a reaction video to my old videos, because it'll be mostly me going, oh God, what was I thinking? The amount of effort I spent on this as well. I remember this took me hours to draw all this, to write all this in Microsoft Paint for such a poor... But it worked. It did work. Anyway, enough of that. Big face. We've got about 5 minutes left. No, 10 minutes left. God, I've not been talking for that long at all. Anyway. Evan says, just saying, not like Britain has ever really produced any... The reason we get to name it isn't because we produce more of it than anyone else. It's because we invented the language. 5 different types of shark have been found, as well as huge eels, sea scorpions. Sea scorpions? That sounds like a bit of a made-up thing. Restaurant delicacies. Yeah, that was the same one that I read, yeah. What is a sea scorpion? Sea scorpions! Yeah, exactly. David from Michigan. Welcome. David, do you say niche or niche? David, I know it's not aquarium related, but busy weekend coming up. Going to put the koi and pond goldfish into a paddling pool into the greenhouse while I extend the koi pond. Good luck with that. You will know my trials and tribulations involving swimming pools. I found the drill pump vid you did brought one great for emptying the sump. It was really good. I still use that to this day. It's good for getting the last dregs of water out of something. Sea scorpion, kind of like a small crab, nothing scary. I used to be part of a community of people that was petrified of crabs. Small, big, doesn't matter. I'm now over it, but I know the fear of small crabs, big crabs, whatever. Calling it a sea scorpion is not going to make it any less scary. But small crabs in general, they're scary things. I say this because, and my mother and father will both dispute this, but it happened. We went to Ullapool for a holiday once, and a cousin or an uncle or a whatever was a fisherman and bought a big fake-off crab and took it home, and that was what was going to be for dinner. So he put it in the sink, and I was told to go and wash my hands. So I went and washed my hands over the sink, not realising that this big fake-off crab was in the sink, and the cold water made it freak out, grabbed me, and near enough cut my hand off. Now, I know you can't tell, and I may be slightly exaggerating, but that's what gave me my fear of crabs, was this big fake-off crab trying to cut my hand off with its pincher. And I have since realised that lobsters, and some crabs, lobsters have like a pinchy claw and a crushing claw. But the crushing claw, they can like properly crush through bones, whatever. That's how I felt about crabs, thinking, oh, no, they're all trying to kill me. They're all out to get me. Crabs. Oh. Can't say nothing scary when you're talking about crabs. Too many YouTubers look at their camera screens instead of the lens. That's because they're trying to see if the thing's still on. I get that. It's a thing. We apologise. Subscribe to Aquarium Adventure. Well, thank you, Nightbot. Yes, do that. Tom Whittaker, hello. Happy Friday. Hope you're well. Question: when you say your day job is in IT, is it in graphic design? It is not. It is in IT, but I find it really hard to tell people what my job actually is. I used to say, it's the dinner party conundrum. How do you explain what your job is? Basically, I draw pictures of clouds with lines coming out of the clouds into other clouds and smaller clouds and boxes. That's it. If you go by my most recent qualification, I'm an Azure Cloud Solutions Architect Expert. I'm not. If you go by my job title, depending on which day it is or what I'm doing, I'm either a solutions architect or a technical delivery manager or a technical account manager. If you get me on a grumpy day, my job is whatever everyone else's job is, because they can't do their own freaking jobs. Yeah. My job involves conference calls all day long. That's pretty much it, yeah. It's architecture. It's big projects and things like that. That's it's hard and boring to explain. Niche is how I pronounce niche. That's because that's how you pronounce niche. Well done, David. quiche or quitchy. Now, Michigan's Upper Peninsula might pronounce it differently. For example, about sounds like a boot. Well, that's like a Canadian thing. I'm about 6 foot tall. I'm about 6 foot tall. Never had crabs myself, but understand the fear of... It's not the fear of getting them, it's the fear of them killing you. Crabs are evil. Have you seen that video of, like, Crab Island? Where it's just like some guy, like, haha, look at all these crabs. And it's just like a million crabs. Oh, there's another one that's even worse. It's the coconut crabs. Where they're, like, enormous. Oh, I would not like them. Crabs can be easy to catch but hard to get rid of. Indeed. Cloud equals uploaded to someone else's computer. Oh, well, I think I even had a t-shirt that said that. The cloud is just someone else's computer. I would generally have to rewind to write out those job titles because they're non-specific. I don't do admin. Well, no, that's not true, because I do admin, because I keep asking for an admin assistant to come and do my admin for me. So I'm like, you're paying me how much money to fill out a timesheet? Okay. I get it. Trying to explain what a BA does to anyone. I feel like I get money for nout. My explanation is dumbed down that much. Yeah. And I feel the same way. I just don't get it. I feel like we've just spent 30 minutes talking about an STI or an actual crab. So, okay, I probably do have fear of the STI version of crabs, but to be clear, that's not the crabs I'm talking about. And I obviously don't want them either. But crabs, crabs, sideways walking crabby buggers, used to scare the bejesus out of me. Tiny little ones. And I trained myself out of this, and I'm really proud of myself for this, because literally they would make the hair stand up in the back of my neck. The tiniest little crab, I'd be like, oh, frozen solid kind of thing. But no, couldn't manage to get myself over that. And I did that by having a marine tank with hermit crabs in it and thinking, oh, they're actually quite cool, and spending time getting them on my hands, getting them to touch me, went to the seaside, picked up little crab. Yeah, all great. But coconut crabs, Crab Island, no, thank you. No, thank you. George RB3 says, hello everyone, please give me a beer. That's not how this works, George. Come on. Right, has anyone got any final questions? Because we're about to crash into, not that I care, we're about to crash into the next stream. I'm sure Coldwater Aquatics is streaming. Can we see that, if he is or not? Not by pressing that button, Graham. Come on. You're better than this. You can do this. YouTube. There we go. He is indeed streaming. So, if nobody asks me any questions, we'll knock this on the head after asking you to click subscribe, go and watch some other videos, do all the good things. If there's a clicky thing to click, click it. If you don't want to click it, go and watch Coldwater Aquatics and say, Graham sent me. It's just about finished. Time changes still effed up. Okay, well, I'll keep going until I've finished my drink then. Unless anyone has any questions to ask. So there's 3 things at play here. How long can Graham's bladder hold out? How long can Graham's attention hold out? How long can Graham's pint hold out? Shall we click on this anyway? And just say hello.
There's his channel link. Mountain Greenery, hello. Good to see you. Appreciate you guys.
Hello, weird
Kenny does have a chain pair.
timekeepers.
Kenny does. Kenny's got some other quite gonna be large fish too.
He's on 2,500
Brandon Colmar, they were
subscribers
small
now.
turn.
His
I'd
old
rather
cold
catch the
water
small turn
aquatics. He's
than
doing pretty
nothing,
well.
And there were still bass. Yeah. Yeah, I would too, man. I would. It's too bad. It's too bad. It's a real mock orange tree. Grows the beautiful flowers that smell so.
I'm going to put them on silent for a while. Oh, Japanese spider crabs. So any kind of spider crabs. It's funny this, because you get to see all the people moonlighting on the other channel. You're like, oi, you were here first. What are you doing over there now? I didn't know they were Japanese specifically. Shall we come back to this channel? I didn't know they were Japanese specifically, but spider crabs that you see on the Deadliest Catch and stuff like that. There's 6 foot. They're like aliens, basically. Scary as all hell. Exactly. Nabokov fan, I understand crabs are just weird spiders underwater. No one likes spiders. Exactly. Question, what is your thoughts regarding a 1 hour challenge type video? So, not adverse to it. Oh, hang on, we're being talked about.
Good stuff.
I just missed us being talked about, sorry.
Muskie are not common even in the North Country. Oh, okay. So that's the thing.
I'm sure it was lovely, whatever he was saying. 1 hour challenge type videos of like, what can you do in an hour, or spend an hour in the fish room with me. I'm not adverse to it. I'd be happy to try it. My only reservations are that I spend a lot of time in my fish room anyway, just because I would like to work from there, because I think, spending time in there is just good. Whenever I'm doing a job, and I've realised this is a terrible trait of my own, but whenever I'm doing a job, I spend a lot of time staring at the job, hoping the job will go away. So if I was to do a 1 hour challenge, this is welcome everyone, I'm in the fish room, I'm doing jobs, there'd be a lot of, will that algae clean itself if I just stare at it really hard? Or, I'm going to have to get out the big hose, because the short hose doesn't reach there, and the big hose is all the way over there. Maybe if I just stare at it, it'll evaporate quicker. And I don't think any of these things show me off in a good light. So I'm open to it, but I don't think it would be very fun for anyone. I looked at the examples you gave me, like Mark shrimp tanks. That was all very well, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other. My approach to the fish room maintenance is, right, I can't put that off any longer, or that's really annoying me, or whatever it is. It's the wrong way to do things, and if I'm meant to be an influencer influencing people, I don't want to tell them to do things as bad as I do them. Question, do I have any experience with Diversa aquariums? I have a couple of Diversa aquariums. Fine. Yeah, they're cheap, bog standard aquariums. Fairly well built. I think the tank Humphrey in at the moment's a Diversa one, or it might be the one the Oscars are in, or a Diversa one. Yeah, came quickly. Happy with them. No problems. The artist formerly known as Maple Sheet Aquatics. Have you seen the deep thermal vent snails with iron shells? Oh, yes, I have seen them. Let's look at them. Because they're like called like something like satanic snails or something like that. Like, Oh, why would you come up with bloody cookies now? Whatever. These buggers. How cool does that look? That's like, I'm the snail from Lord of the Rings. He just promoted your channel saying when the times are right, you're first, then him. And he appreciates you, and it's weird how time works. It's weird how time works. Any recommendation for a shop vac? Yes. Let me find it. I use a Titan brand shop vac from Screwfix, and I use the very smallest one, and I must admit it's brilliant, and it does most of the things I needed to do. So if you want to buy one for yourself, for instance, in fact, bear with me a moment while I talk to myself. Just basically seeing if there's an Amazon affiliate link version of it. No. So, by all means, go and click on one of my Amazon affiliate links, but this thing, which is every now and again is on offer for a little bit cheaper, but that's a pretty good price. It's fantastic. It sucks up fish tanks, it sucks up sand, gravel, rocks, everything. My only concern is, as a massive aquarium owner, I might get the bigger ones, but that one's fine. So I wish I had bought this one, but it's purely just to have more capacity. But the little one's fine. Not 1 hour of Graham in the chair, but the room doing fishy things. That's it. My approach to doing fishy things is often to stand in front of a fish tank and just stare at it, hoping that it'll go away or come back with some kind of, no, these are not the fish tanks you want. You know what I mean? 10 to 15 minutes of Graham's chair thoughts does seem promising as a premise. And that's generally what you get. But even when I've decided what I want to do, so, for instance, I decided that I wanted to take the cories out of the cories in Rainbow Tank and move them into their own tank so they could breed without the rainbows eating all their children. I thought, right, that's the thing, that's fine. And I didn't mean to, but I kind of timed myself, and I sat for 45 minutes just going, I'm going to have to move you over there. So that means I'm going to have to move all that wood out of there, because that's where they like to hide. And if I'm going to have to move the wood, that means I need to move all the plants that are on the top, because I've got loads of floating plants in that tank. And if I'm going to move the floating plants, I'm going to need a bucket to keep them wet. And if I'm going to need a bucket, I'm going to have to go back up to... I'm going to have to go up to the shed upstairs. I'm also going to need I'm going to need a net to catch them all. Maybe if I just stare at them long enough, they'll jump from one to the other. It didn't happen. But that was like literally 15-20 minutes of me just staring at them going, there must be an easier way. And then going, no, there isn't. And going and doing it. So I would need to train myself to think, right, cut out all that crap about finding an easy way to do it and just do it. Sauron the snail, exactly. Diverse tanks are good, yeah, no problem with mine. I can confirm the Titan ones are ideal for the odd flood clearance. This is a paid for comment, exactly. I hear Screwfix were going into administration, really? I doubt it. Screwfix are part of the Kingfisher group. So Screwfix, B&Q, all those kind of ones. Screwfix are part of Kingfisher? I did not know that. There you go. I wouldn't have thought Screwfix would go into administration. The reason I say that is because they were the one shop throughout lockdown that had queues round the building. The only supermarket that had queues. I remember my question from earlier. If a 75-gallon tank appeared out of magic in your house and you only had to do maintenance, what would be in said massive tank? There's a question. The standard answer is discus, obviously, but I'm going to assume I already have my discus tank, so that's fine. I'd probably go for a pufferfish because I think they're my second favourite type of fish. So I'd maybe go for a Fahaka puffer, a Mabu puffer. It's not quite big enough for one of them. I'd go for a Fahaka puffer because maintenance would be pretty straightforward. Scoop it out every now and again. Yeah, and pufferfish are cool as all hell, so yes. That's exactly right. So, for those of you listening on podcast and not on video, Juggler says, I'm the same. Spend 1 hour planning how to make a 30-minute job into a 25-minute job. I might get a plaque made up, Juggler, that says exactly that, because that is exactly what I will do. I will spend all day, even in my actual proper job, I'll spend all day planning something that would just, if I just did it, done. No. How can I make this someone else's problem? Can I make this go away? Yeah. Graham's armchair talk sounds a bit like a late call with a Ricky filter. I could do that, yeah. Sharpie would put in a 75 a couple of thousand bristle noses, which is not unusual for Sharpie, because that's kind of what he wants to put on everything. Rainbow fish. Chana, if you're allowed Chana, I'd go with Chana. But you need to have a strong lid. Fahaka puffer. If you could get Shoutin' Denny puffers, I'd maybe get a group of them. Really enjoying my bucktooth tetras, but again, a species only tank. You can't get anything else with them. All good calls for even just like small fish. I know everyone says it, but like guppies, endlers, tetras, small tetras, thousands of them. Just having a big shoal / school of them, yeah. Five gourami and a 53, 2 3-eye, 1 pearl and 2 moonlight among an assortment of tetras. It sounds like fun, Sharpie. Yeah, well, if you go and watch those, Sharpie has a stream every Sunday. Is that still true? I'm not sure if that's still true. Certainly had one last Sunday, where you can go and see his factory. No other way to describe it other than a factory of bristlenose plecos and various other things. So you can go and see what he's got going on there. Plenty of videos on my channel, exactly. Right, we're down to the last bit. I cannot hold this pee in any longer. Happy Friday all, hope you have a great weekend. If you want to come to the fish auction,